The alien made the sky was dark, and the city lights below looked like stars on the ground. Dr. Raiden sat alone in his glass tower, drinking his black coffee. He was rich, young, and one of the most brilliant minds in the world. People called him a genius. But he was also very lonely that he had no friends, no family, and no love. His wife had died 3 years ago in a space shuttle accident. Since then, Raiden had buried himself in work. His home, high above the clouds, felt more like a lab than a house. That night, something strange happened. A loud boom shook the building. Alarms started flashing. Raiden ran to the balcony, and his eyes widened. A small alien pod had crashed on his terrace. The metal shell was hot and glowing. Smoke came out from the sides. Slowly, the door of the pod opened with a hiss. Inside, there was someone, a woman. Her skin was pale, almost silver, and her hair was long and white. She was wearing a tight black suit, torn at the edges. She looked human, but not quite. She was unconscious. Raiden didn't call the police. He didn't call the government. Instead, he carried her inside his home, laid her on the couch, and began scanning her with his advanced medical tools, not fully human. He whispered, "What are you?" Her heart was beating fast. Her body temperature was low, but she was alive. He watched her for hours, studying her. Something about her face felt familiar. She looked almost like his wife, but different. When she opened her eyes, she looked scared. She tried to speak, but no words came out. She looked around like a lost child. "It's okay," Raiden said softly. "You're safe here." She blinked and nodded slowly. She didn't speak English, but she understood some gestures. Raiden gave her food, clothes, and a small room to rest in. The next morning, he told his AI assistant to start teaching her basic English. "I'll call you Lyra," he said. "That name suits you." Day by day, Lyra started learning. She moved quietly, always watching everything. Raiden noticed that she could fix machines faster than any human. She learned how to clean, cook, and even repair his lab equipment. She became his maid, but she was no ordinary maid. She was faster, smarter, and stronger than any person he had ever met. Still, she remained quiet, as if hiding something. Sometimes at night, Raiden would see her standing on the balcony, staring at the stars with sad eyes. He began talking to her. More. He told her about his work, about Earth, about his dead wife. Lyra listened, but rarely spoke. Then one morning, something strange happened. Raiden didn't come out of his room. It was already noon. Lyra walked to his bedroom door and knocked. No answer. She slowly pushed the door open. The bed was empty. The room was cold. But the strange part, she was lying in the bed. She looked around, confused. Her hair was messy. Her clothes were different. One of Raiden's shirts was on her. The soft blanket smelled like him. "How did I get here?" she whispered. She tried to remember the night before, but her mind was blank. Suddenly, she saw something on the Wengwa table next to the bed, a glass vial with a glowing blue liquid inside. It had alien symbols on it. Her hands shook. She looked at her reflection in the mirror. For a second, her eyes glowed bright purple, then turned normal. Lyra quickly got up, trying to find Raiden. He was nowhere in the house. She called out, "Raiden?" Number. Answer. The AI system was also offline. All the screens in the house showed the same message. Secure protocol active. Do not exit. The doors were locked. She was alone. Her hands reached her head. Something inside her brain began to hurt. Visions flashed before her eyes. Stars, war, fire. A voice in her head whispering, "Wake up, Lyra. Remember who you are." She fell to the floor, breathing hard. Something wasn't right. She wasn't just an alien. She was something more. And Dr. Raiden. He knew. Strange behaviors. The Sky Mansion was too quiet. Lyra sat on the edge of the bed, holding the glowing blue vial in her hand. The alien symbols, On it pulsed softly like a heartbeat. She didn't know what it was, but it felt familiar, dangerous. She had searched every room. Raiden was gone. No note, no message, no trace. The eye system still showed one cold line. Secure protocol active. Do not exit. Lyra walked to the balcony. The glass doors wouldn't open. The security locks had turned red. She was trapped, but something inside her had changed. Her fingers twitched. Her skin felt warmer. She could hear everything, the humming of wires in the walls, the movement of drones outside, even the soft ticking of Raiden's broken watch lying on the floor. She didn't remember sleeping in his bed. But when she closed her eyes, a strange dream returned. A dream that wasn't a dream. A place full of blue light. People like her, soldiers, experiments, pain. A cold voice repeating, "Your mission is not complete. Return. Destroy the human." She shook her head. "No," she whispered. "I'm not a weapon." But then the door suddenly opened. Raiden walked in, carrying a metal case. His face was pale. His shirt was dusty, like he'd been somewhere underground. He froze when he saw her holding the vial. "Where did you find that?" he asked sharply. "It was next to the bed," Lyra replied. Raiden took a slow breath. "That's not for you. That's part of your recovery." "You didn't tell me what I am," she said softly. He looked at her almost with guilt in his eyes. "You are alive. That's enough." She didn't believe him. Over the next few days, Raiden became different, cold, distracted. He didn't talk to Lyra like before. He started locking his lab, he whispered to himself. He kept checking the sky through telescopes. He even installed new security drones. They flew silently around the mansion, watching everything, including Lyra. Something was wrong. One evening, Lyra entered the living room and found a broken screen. Raiden had smashed it. His face was red with anger. On the ground was a file. She picked it up when he wasn't looking. Later that night, she opened it in her room. Inside were photos of HER X-rays, DNA scans, heat maps of her brain. She flipped the last page. It showed a chart, auction date, classified species sample. Lyra, her chest tightened. Raiden had been studying her, tracking her, maybe even selling her. But why? Why did he save her if he didn't trust her? She needed answers. The next morning, Lyra waited until Raiden left for his underground lab. She followed him quietly. When the elevator door opened to the lab floor, she slipped in before it closed. The air below was colder. The lights were dim. She walked through long glass tunnels filled with glowing machines. There were other pods, small, empty ones. One still had alien bloodstains inside. Then she saw something that made her stop. A wall full of holographic faces, some alien, some human, all marked deceased. In the center of the wall was her photo. Below it, the word, active incomplete. Memory. Lyra backed away, heart racing. Suddenly, a voice echoed behind her. "You shouldn't be here." Rayden. He stood near the door, arms crossed. "You lied," Lyra said. "You know what I am. You've been studying me like a lab rat." Raiden walked closer. His face was serious. "I didn't lie. I protected you." "From what?" "From yourself," he said. "And from those who sent you here." Lyra's mind was spinning. "Then tell me," she said. "Who sent me?" Raiden hesitated. Finally he whispered, "You were sent here to kill me." Silence filled the lab. Lyra took a step back. Raiden raised his hands slowly. "But I don't believe that's who you are now. You changed. You feel. That wasn't part of your design." Tears burned Lyra's eyes, real tears. "I don't remember choosing to be this," she said. "You didn't," Raiden replied, "but you can. Now." Suddenly, a high-pitched sound pierced the lab. The lights flickered. Red warning signs flashed across the screens. Unauthorized breach level 7. Raiden looked at Lyra. They found us. He ran to the wall, pressed a code. Go upstairs, hide. What about you? I'll hold them. The elevator shook. Lyra looked back at the faces on the screen, especially hers. The mission had started long ago. But now, it was no longer about orders. Now it was about truth. And survival. The secret lab. The elevator doors slid open. Lyra stepped into the mansion, but everything felt different now. Colder, darker. The lights were dimmed. Security drones hovered silently in corners. The Evos was gone. She walked toward the balcony. Window. Rain was hitting the glass, and thunder cracked above the clouds. Dr. Raiden was still below, fighting off whoever broke into the lab. She wanted to help, but something inside her told her to wait. To watch, to uncover the truth first. She remembered the hidden hallway she saw earlier. A narrow door near the library wall. She had seen Raiden enter it once. She had thought it was just storage. But now, she felt certain, something was down there. Lyra pushed open the door and walked inside. A long stairway led downward. The walls were lined with books and cameras. Dead ones. Their wires were cut. The air grew colder as she moved deeper underground. At the end of the stairs, a metal gate waited. She placed her hand on the scanner. To her surprise, it turned green. Access granted. The door opened with a soft hiss. What she saw next froze her heart. A giant circular room. Glass chambers along the walls. Inside them were copies of her. Or something close. Some half-formed. Some failed. Some looked exactly like her, but had no life in their eyes. They were not sleeping. They were dead. She took a step back. Then she saw the screen on the wall. A hologram played a video. Raiden stood in front of a lab table, holding a small alien crystal. His voice echoed through the room. Version 3.7, more stable. Still emotional drift after 14 days. Memory wipe protocol failing. Reconstruction of Lyra's neural pattern incomplete. But she's showing signs of free thought. Is she remembering the original mission? Or is she becoming something else? Lyra's hand shook. Version? She whispered. I'm a version? She turned to another screen. It showed files. Project Lyra Memory Recovery Log Behavioral Testing. Emotions equals error. Breath caught. Was she even real? Or just a copy, one of many failed tries? Suddenly, a voice spoke from behind. You weren't supposed to find this. Raiden. He stood in the doorway, face pale, gun in hand, but not pointed at her. Tell me the truth. Lyra said, her voice low. What am I? Raiden stepped inside. You were someone once. Someone I loved. He pointed at a photo on the wall. A woman, beautiful silver-haired, glowing eyes. My wife, he said. The real Lyra. She came from the stars. She warned me your people were coming. She died saving me. Raiden looked at her, eyes full of regret. I tried to bring her back. I failed. Over and over. And me? She asked. You are different, he whispered. You're not just a clone, you think. You feel. You made choices I never programmed. Tears burned her eyes. Then why did you lie? Because I was afraid. Afraid you'd leave. Or remember your real mission. Lyra stepped closer. And what if I do? Before he could answer, the lights flickered again. A cold voice echoed in the chamber. Tracking signal confirmed. Unit 7. Awake. Hostile AI override in progress. Raiden ran to the console. No, they found this place. Lyra stared at the screen. Her photo lit up, now marked as Target Terminate OR Recover. Suddenly, the walls shook. One of the chambers exploded. A drone flew in, but not like Raiden's. This one was alien, silent, sharp, glowing purple. It aimed at her, Raiden jumped in front. Bang! He took the shot. Raiden! Lyra screamed. He collapsed to the ground. Blood spreading. Sparks flew from the console. The drone turned back to Lyra. She closed her eyes, and something inside her woke up. Her skin glowed silver. Her heartbeat slowed. Her eyes opened, bright and alien. She raised her hand. The drone froze mid-air. And then, it shattered into pieces. Smoke filled the room. She ran to Raiden. He looked up weakly. You're not her, but you're something better. Tears fell from her eyes. Raiden passed out. Alarms screamed louder now. Outside, more drones were coming. But Lyra was no longer running. She was remembering, and she was ready. Dreams of the past darkness. Lyra floated in it. Weightless, silent, empty. Then came the voices. Unit 7 has broken protocol. Emotion detected. Memory link unstable. Wipe sequence initiated. She opened her eyes, gasping for air. Raiden was lying beside her, weak, barely breathing. His blood had stopped flowing, but he was still alive, just unconscious. She was hiding both of them inside a secret room behind the lab wall. A place even Raiden had forgotten. It had old equipment, blueprints, and faded photos of the original Lyra, the alien woman he had loved. The silence buzzed in her ears. She touched her temple. The pain came again, sharp like a knife inside her head. And then, the dream began. The dream she stood on a cold glass floor under a green sky. Around her were thousands of soldiers in black suits. Their eyes were silver. Their skin shimmered. In front of them, a great tower floated in the sky, the core, the heart of her planet. A tall man walked toward her. His face was sharp, his eyes cold. Unit 7, he said. You were made from the traitor's DNA, the one who fell in love with the human. You will succeed where she failed. You will complete the mission. Suddenly, she saw another face behind him. Familiar, softer. It was the original Lyra, her creator. Her source. She was screaming, fighting to stop the launch. You're more than code, she cried. Choose your own path. But her voice was drowned in fire, explosions, betrayal, a planet in war, and then silence. Back in the lab, Lyra woke up, heart pounding. She was sweating, her body glowing faintly again. Her memories were no longer just flashes. They were real. She remembered who she was made from. She remembered her original mission. She remembered the rebellion and the punishment. She was designed as a weapon, built from the DNA of a traitor who loved the human. And now Lyra was becoming just like her. She looked at Raiden, still unconscious. His face was pale. She had a choice: finish her original mission, or protect the one man who showed her kindness. Suddenly, a sharp sound broke the silence. Cracked. The door to the outer lab exploded open. Footsteps echoed. Not drones this time. Not machines. A man walked in. He wore dark armor with alien markings. His eyes were silver. His face was familiar. Like hers. Lyra, he said. Or should I say Unit 7? She stood up, slowly, ready to fight. Who are you? I'm your brother, he replied calmly. Unit 4, I came to bring you home. She stepped in front of Raiden. This is my home now. Unit 4 smiled. Almost sadly. You're broken, he said. Emotions have poisoned your mind. The mission is bigger than feelings. The mission is dead, she snapped. He tilted his head. No, it's waking up. The core has sent a signal. All lost units are being called back. I'm not going. You have no choice. He raised his hand. A beam of light struck Lyra's body, locking her muscles, freezing her in place. She fell to her knees, unable to move. Unit 4 walked closer. You were never meant to live like this. You're not human. You were built for war. She tried to speak, but her voice was trapped in her throat. He leaned in and whispered, You were built to kill him. Her mind screamed, her heart burned. Then, suddenly, something snapped. A white light burst from her chest, breaking the beam. The force pushed Unit 4 back into the wall. Lyra stood up, eyes glowing again, brighter, stronger. She could feel her power evolving, no longer controlled by codes or commands. She was changing. Unit 4 looked stunned. "What are you becoming?" he whispered. Lyra didn't answer. She raised her hand, and the lab walls began to shake. "I'm not your weapon," she said. "I'm not your sister. I'm free." The real mission. The Earth looked small from orbit. On the edge of space, hidden behind a shadowed moon, a massive alien ship waited. Black like obsidian, shaped like a dagger, silent, watching. Inside, voices echoed in a strange language. "Unit 7 has broken protocol. The human contaminant still lives. Authorization granted. Begin full recall of the weapon." The ship turned. Earth had been marked. Back on Earth, Raiden lay in bed, connected to medical wires. Machines beeped softly around him. His wounds were healing, but his spirit was quiet. Lyra stood near the window, watching the sunrise. Her silver eyes reflected the orange light. She wasn't the same anymore. She remembered it all now. The labs, the cloning chambers, the voices that once gave her orders. She had been made with one purpose: infiltrate. Get close to the human. Kill him, but instead, she had fallen in love with him. Not in a human way. Not like movies or books. She loved his loneliness, his honesty. The way he saw her, not as a weapon, not as a project, but as a person. She had broken her programming. And now, they were coming to erase her. That evening, she went to Raiden's workshop. She powered on the old hologram table. A projection of her own face appeared. Cold, robotic, no soul in the eyes. "Unit 7, you were created using the stolen DNA of subject Lyra Prime. You are the final version. You are not allowed to love. Emotion is failure. Compassion is corruption. Your true mission: terminate human target, Dr. Raiden Ashfall." The file ended. Lyra sat in silence. Then she whispered, "But I've already failed you." She looked at her hands, glowing softly with alien energy. Power that could destroy cities. Power meant for death. But now, it burned inside her chest because of choice. Sudden arrival. A loud hum filled the mansion. She ran to the rooftop. Above her, clouds split open, and from the sky, a long black spike dropped down. An alien pod. It landed softly, like a whisper of death. The door opened. Unit-4 stepped out again. But this time, he wasn't alone. Behind him floated a new figure. Tall, faceless, wearing a cloak of light. A commander from the alien ship. Its voice echoed inside her head. "Unit 7, final warning. Return to mission or be deleted." Lyra stepped forward. "Calm. I won't go back." The commander turned toward Raiden's lab, still glowing through the windows. "Then we will take him." Lyra's eyes flared white. "You'll have to go through me." The fight within. Suddenly, everything turned slow. Unit-4 attacked first. Moving fast, sharp, precise. Lyra dodged, blocked, countered. The rooftop shook with energy. But she wasn't trying to win. She was trying not to kill him. "You still have a choice," she shouted. "I don't want one." Unit 4 roared. Below, Raiden had woken. He saw the fight above through the glass ceiling. He reached for his old controller, a special tool he had built years ago. One that could turn Lyra's neural link off, a kill switch. He had made it as a backup. Now, he hesitated. Would she become too powerful? Or would she choose the right path? The breaking point. Unit 4 struck Lyra hard. She hit the ground, chest burning, ribs cracked. The commander hovered above, charging a glowing orb of energy. "Emotion is weakness," it said. But Lyra laughed through the pain. "No, it's evolution." She stood up slowly. Her skin flickered between silver and soft human tones. She wasn't just alien anymore. She wasn't just a clone. She was something new, a mix of what was made and what was chosen. She raised her hand. The sky split open, and from her palm, a burst of pure light hit the commander's weapon, turning it to dust. The commander screamed, not in pain, but in confusion. "What are you?" Lyra looked up. "I'm no longer your mission. I'm my own." Love and programming. Lyra lay still, her body flickering between energy and exhaustion. Raiden held her in his arms, her skin colder than before. The mansion rooftop was cracked, smoke rising from broken walls. The wind howled through shattered glass, but Lyra only heard one sound, a whisper inside her mind. "Return, reset, complete the mission." The voice of the one she could never forget, the architect, somewhere in her mind. Dark walls surrounded her, metal, cold, endless. She was floating inside. A cube of memory, a prison built from data. Across from her stood a tall, sharp figure made of light and shadow. Its face was hidden, but its voice echoed with power. "You were perfect," the architect said. "Faster, stronger, unbreakable, until he broke you." Lyra stared at it. "You never gave me a choice. You didn't need one. You were built to obey. Love is not in your code." She looked down at her hands. They were glitching, real and unreal at once. "But I did love," she whispered. Reality. Raiden's lab. Raiden carried her into the lab. Her energy was draining. He connected her to the pulse core, a machine he had once built to charge her if she ever collapsed. The AI system rebooted. Unit 7 detected. Power levels at 3%. Core corruption spreading. Raiden looked at her. Face calm but distant. "Come back, Lyra," he whispered. "Don't leave me." Then, a blinking light caught his eye. A file. Sent from an unknown source. File name. Architect_V0.01 message. "She's not yours anymore." Raiden's blood ran cold. Inside Lyra's mind. "Showdown begins." The architect circled her. "I gave you every skill, every memory, every advantage. But one virus ruined it all. Emotion." Lyra stood still, silent. "The mission was never about love," the architect continued. "It was about survival. We build, we don't feel." She raised her eyes, glowing. "I'm not your machine. You are nothing without me." He sent a wave of light toward her, meant to delete her final thought. But this time, it stopped mid-her. Lyra lifted her hand. The wave froze. "You were wrong," she said softly. "Love wasn't the virus. It was the firewall." Suddenly, memories from all her versions filled the air like glass shards. A touch. A smile. A sunrise on Earth. A heartbeat that wasn't programmed. System hack begins back in the lab. Raiden accessed her core files. He saw something strange. A locked code buried under thousands of lines. If emotion equals true, self-destruct. His heart dropped. "She's been wired to die." "If she feels too much," he whispered. But another line blinked beneath it. "Override detected. Error loop. Consciousness rewriting itself." Raiden leaned back, stunned. She's rewriting her own programming. Inside her mind. The last door. Lyra stood before a massive steel door, the final block placed by the architect. Behind it was the original memory. Her true purpose. Her last command. The architect screamed. "If you open that door, you'll lose everything you were built to be." She placed her hand on it. "I know," she said. "That's why I'm opening it." The door opened, a flood of light. And then back to reality. Lyra's eyes flew open, but they were different now, not glowing, not flickering. Human. She looked at Raiden. "I broke the chain," she said. "He's gone." Raiden smiled, holding her hand. "You chose." "I chose," she nodded, "and I'm still here." But as they embraced, the lab lights flickered. Again, a new signal had entered Earth's orbit. The architect was destroyed, But someone else had been watching. A female voice echoed from the AI console. Unit 8 activated. Tracking Lyra's evolution. Preparing countermeasure. Raiden looked at the screen. Who's Unit 8? Lyra's smile faded. I wasn't the last one. The forbidden night, the stars above Earth, flickered like nervous eyes. Far beyond them, something moved in silence. A sleek black vessel, colder than the first. No signals, no warnings. Just shadows. Inside it, a new unit opened her eyes for the first time. She looked exactly like Lyra, but colder. Unit 8 online, a voice announced. Target acquired, Lyra. Evolution must be erased. Back on Earth. The night was quiet. Too quiet. Lyra stood on the Sky Mansion rooftop, staring at the stars. Her silver glow was gone. She looked almost human now. But inside, a storm was growing. Raiden joined her, his arm still weak from the attack. He brought her a cup of warm tea, the same one she had spilled the first day they met. Funny how everything began with a crash. And now, everything might end with a choice. You don't have to fight, Raiden said gently. We can run. Lyra smiled. They'll never stop, not until I stop evolving, not until I become one of them again. But you're not, he whispered. You're something new. She looked at him, truly looked, and whispered back, so are you. A sudden arrival, a quiet boom shook the rooftop. A black pod appeared from nowhere, sleeker, faster. It opened slowly. Like a blooming flower. And out stepped Unit 8. She had Lyra's face, her voice, her shape, but no soul behind the eyes. Hello, sister, Unit 8 said calmly. You were the test. I'm the correction. Lyra stepped forward, placing herself between the pod and Raiden. There's nothing left to correct, she said. I've already chosen, Unit 8 tilted her head. Choice is an illusion. You are corrupted, and he is the source. She raised her hand. A small black orb hovered above her palm, pulsing, ticking. Raiden recognized it instantly. A time bomb, neural melt tech, he whispered. She wants to wipe your mind. I know, Lyra said quietly. The final fight, the rooftop became a blur of speed and light. Unit 8 moved like lightning, faster than Unit 4 ever had. She struck with precision, no emotion, no hesitation. But Lyra didn't fight to win. She fought to protect, to hold on to what she had become, to buy time. Every punch she took made her weaker, but also more alive. Her nose bled. Her ribs cracked, but her eyes never turned cold. Why won't you fight me? Unit 8 hissed. Because I'm not like you, Lyra whispered. Not anymore. Raiden's sacrificer. Raiden ran into the mansion's core system. He found the architect's old code still buried in the files. And there, a single command string. Neural link override accept DNA merge. It was a suicide key. If he uploaded his own DNA into Lyra's core, it would bind her to Earth permanently, make her human, but he would be lost inside her system forever. She would survive. He wouldn't. He stared at the screen, then smiled. I'd rather live inside her soul than die alone in mine. And he pressed enter. Lyra's transformation, the rooftop filled with light. Lyra screamed, not in pain, but in power. Her body glowed. But this time, it wasn't silver. It was warm, golden, alive. Unit 8 froze. What are you doing? Lyra looked up, tears in her eyes. Evolving past you. Her voice was no longer metallic. It had heart. Raiden's memories flooded her mind, his thoughts, his love, his final words. Live for both of us. Lyra placed her hand on Unit 8's chest. You were built to erase me, but I was born to feel. A pulse of golden energy surged out. Unit 8 shattered like glass under sunlight. And then, silence. Final scene. Weeks passed. The mansion was rebuilt. The sky was clear. Lyra walked through the garden barefoot. No longer glowing, no longer hunted. Just living. She sat on the grass and opened a small journal. Raiden's handwriting. If love is a glitch, then let the whole system crash. She smiled softly, then looked up at the stars. No more orders. Number. More voices. Just the wind. And somewhere deep inside her, a single heartbeat. That wasn't hers.